types of conflict and how we can resolve it to ensure a happy, healthy team. Please help me welcome Elizabeth.
Who here loves conflict?
Yes.
Yes. I'm hoping to get into a heated conversation with someone today. Even better, I hope I can break up that conflict and help them resolve it. Yeah, it's mixed feelings. Many people try and avoid conflict. Avoiding conflict. It's difficult, but I'm hoping I can rhapsodize conflict for you today. You'll want to walk away looking forward to conflict and understanding how it helps build your team and build yourself. So I want to start off with defining what the heck is conflict. So conflict occurs when two or more people, a team, they have differences. It could be opinions, thoughts, goals. They could be real or perceived. And they go unresolved, right? So this is what conflict is, the general definition. Conflict resolution is identifying what that problem is and addressing the conflict in a mature and respectful way. We're not going to go smear campaigns. We're not going to do finger pointing. We're going to be mature and respectful, I know, about resolving this conflict. So I'm going to talk about a few different types of conflict. Now, we could talk about types of conflict all day long, but we're going to limit this down to a few pretty common types of conflict. And the first is personalities. Sometimes there's some contentious personalities. In general, we all have different personalities, and coming into a group, you have to start to meld. But there's certain types of contentious personalities that make conflict a bit more difficult. Sometimes there's people that just love to argue. They really get joy and excitement out of arguing, and they want to argue about everything. And that in a team setting can become a little difficult to work with. You also have some people that are egomaniacs. It's all about me. In a team setting, this causes problems because they're taking credit for a lot of things, and they're just very narcissistic, and it really wears a team. You have some people that they're very proud of this sometimes, but they're people pleasers. People pleaser sounds like a great thing, but as a people pleaser, what you're always saying is, oh, whatever works for you, whatever makes you happy. But in a team setting, we asked for your opinion. We wanted your assistance, and you're actually not helping. And so it starts to weigh down on other people because it feels like you're not contributing, even though you think you're helping the team. You also have, I will admit it, I used to be this person. The know-it-all. I have an answer for everything. I can answer every question. And on top of that, I'm always right. Know-it-alls are very difficult to work with because it feels like they're constantly trying to steal the show. They're not giving other people opportunity to shine. So be careful if you are a know-it-all. Be recognizing of that and try and help other people grow in your team. And then you have people that are, oh, woe is me. The Eeyores and everything's negative. Nothing is a positive. And when that person's constantly negative in your group, that can also lead to a lot of conflict because it's like you could just never make this person happy. So these are different types of personalities. Once again, many other personalities we could throw in here, but they're very common in regards to causing or contributing to conflict. The next one's a misunderstanding. This is my favorite kind of conflict because in general, misunderstandings, those are simple to address and fix if you address it right away. Because sometimes someone just, they missed the memo. They just need a little bit of more information and you can resolve it. So I always hope for a misunderstanding, but make sure it doesn't go unaddressed. Next one's issues. Issues sounds kind of loaded, but issues happen when a team, Ed comes in, he's got an idea about what the goal is. Robert comes in, he thinks he knows what the goal is. Amy has opinions on it. And these things start to go into conflict. We're not all on the same page. And so when the train leaves the station, we're going all over the place and it causes issues that grow if it's not addressed and we don't get everybody working together. Your final type of conflict, for anybody who is a leader, I'm sad to say sometimes it's you. Not necessarily causing it, sometimes it causes it, but sometimes it contributes to it as well. Many people who are in the leadership tracks learn about your leadership style. We all tend to lean into one. There are many different styles, and depending on the situation and the group of people you're working with, make sure that you're using the different leadership style for that. If you're very authoritative and you're in a very collaborative, happy type group, it can start to cause conflict. In the same respects, if you are a very passive leader and conflict is happening, things go unresolved and it can actually contribute and make problems worse. So think about your leadership style when addressing conflict. So these are various different types of conflict. We could go on and on, but very common types of conflict when working with a team. So how do we fix it? You can ignore it, right? It'll go away. Sometimes, right? Just ignore it. There's nothing going on here. Sometimes it makes sense. Usually it doesn't work, but sometimes it really does make sense. Remember we talked about that argumentative person? They're trying to bait you and they really want to argue about everything, so ignore them. Just ignore them. They're not going to get what they want, and sometimes that in itself will resolve the conflict. Sometimes it's a temporary situation. There's a lot of conflict. My dog doesn't want to go outside because it's raining. I'm arguing with them, but I'm not going to worry about it because the rain's going to go away. So it's a temporary situation, and it's just not worth the time of the team to dive into it. So ignoring it sometimes makes sense. Usually it does not. Your next option is to smooth it over. We're going to be having a party for Amy, celebrate all of her awesomeness, thank her for being a president. Sterling refuses to show up because he's not going to get the sprinkles he wanted for his ice cream. We really need Sterling there. We love how supporting Sterling is. And so sometimes in order to get him there, we just want to smooth it over, just get the man his sprinkles and he'll show up. And the goal of the team and the goal of celebrating Amy and the party, way more important than the very minor conflict that's occurred. So sometimes smoothing it over in order to meet your objective makes sense. And the next option, you can be forceful. Sterling, you're not getting your sprinkles, just deal with it and show up. Sterling may take that and he will show up, but he's probably going to be a little grumpy with me. So force makes sense sometimes in some situations. So like ignoring it, consider what the situation is and does it call for force, and just recognize people are going to be walking away with some hurt feelings, but you're going to meet your ultimate team goal because sometimes it's time sensitive or high impact. And you just need to be forceful and tell people to get over it, move on, and we need to resolve whatever we're working on. Right? Just be very conscientious when you use this method. Now, the next one starts to move towards our preferred methods of resolving conflict, which is compromise. Now, like force, there could be some sad people, and it could be hurt feelings if not done appropriately. With compromise, everybody gives up something. That is your ideal. You don't want Robert to have to give up one thing, but Sterling gets what he wants. Robert's compromising, but Sterling wins. So we want to make sure both of you give up something at the same time. That's ideal compromise there. The reason we want to do this is to make sure that everybody is even and fair with it. And compromise makes sense because sometimes all good projects or all good ideas start great on paper, but once the train leaves the station, so many things happen. We need to give up something in order to meet our ultimate team goal. Now, the final one is collaboration. Collaboration is our ideal. The ideal way we want to resolve conflict, because we're all in on identifying what the problem is. We all have buy-in on how we want to solve it. All of us were heard and contributed to what's going on. So collaboration is our ideal way of resolving conflict, and I want to dive into that a little bit more. So how do we facilitate collaboration? Now, I spent many years as a problem manager. It is a job. It is a real thing. Problem managers resolve and facilitate conflict with teams after high impact type problems occur in an IT environment. There are emotions that are high. Jonas was up for 3 days because darn Renita made a mistake. That's his opinion and you're not going to change it. But the reality is these are complex problems. There's heated emotions. People feel passionate about whatever the conflict is you're going to resolve. So the first thing we want to do is set the stage for how we're going to do it. We are not going to point fingers at Jonas. It was not his fault. He had a legitimate reason. And the reality is Renita could have made the same mistake. So no finger pointing is to occur when we're resolving conflicts. We also want to allow everybody to speak and give their perspective. If you remember Amy's speech a few weeks back about the car accident, multiple different views and perspectives. So we want to let everybody speak and we want to listen to them as well because we were where they were and we want to hear what they have to say. So make sure everyone can speak and everybody is heard. And then I'm going to start with defining the problem. It may seem silly, right? We know what the conflict is. We've been dealing with this conflict for weeks. But the reality is, if we I think what we talked about a little earlier, misunderstandings, we need to make sure we're all on the same page as to what the heck the problem was, right? So let's talk about and make sure we're all clear, because hopefully it is a misunderstanding. We can just clear that up right now, but we all want to understand what the problem is. And the reason why is once we understand and agree on what the problem is, we want to talk about what the root cause is. Now, a lot of people stop with that root cause. I don't like that term because I like to consider it as contributing factors. Greg deleted our spreadsheet and we've lost our entire roster. Thanks, Greg. Greg deleted it because the documentation was wrong, and the documentation was right at one point in time because we had backups, so deleting it was the appropriate solution. So there's a lot of things that contributed to it. So Greg didn't really do anything wrong. He caused us pain and sickness, but we actually need to resolve a few things that contributed to the problem. Yeah.
I feel better now.
You do. I've defended you.
You did.
Yes.
No conflict.
Don't cry.
Yeah. So once we understand what the problem is and what all the things that contributed to, we want to talk about both the areas of agreement and disagreement. I like to start with agreement. We all agree. We love Greg. It wasn't his fault. All in agreement there. We have concerns about the backup thing, and maybe we disagree about why or why not it's happening and if that needs to be addressed. But we want to start with the things we agree on because we can all gather around that and we can all rally around getting that fixed and addressing it. Then talk about the areas of disagreement. Once you do that, you want to search for solutions and reach consensus about those solutions to these different factors that we've identified. The way I love doing that is by using brainstorming, and I want to talk about that. We had a speech a few weeks back about introverts. There are many people in a large group setting, especially a highly contentious conflict type situation, that are not going to say anything. They don't want to rock the boat. They're people pleasers. We want their opinions though, and we want them to be heard. So we want to give them a way to anonymously provide that feedback. Nowadays, in our modern online world, we have great things like Mural or whiteboards that people can anonymously provide their input into solutions to problems. They can also hopefully provide anonymous input into what the problem was. Then the team can come together and evaluate the positives and negatives of these solutions. And we can agree on how we're going to solve that. And we can narrow the list down as a group, still anonymously voting on the anonymous ideas that came together. And as a team, we've agreed on how we're going to solve this problem. So when you do collaboration effectively, everybody had a say, everybody can rally around the solution, and you have a lot of buy-in and a high potential for resolving the conflict. So today we talked about what conflicts, different types of conflicts occurred, different types of ways to resolve this conflict. And I want to leave you with this final thought. I want to ask you not to avoid conflict. Lean into the conflict, because healthy conflict truly allows teams and individuals to grow. Woo!